If a Libra ever completely loses faith in you, you probably won't even realize it happened. There won't be a screaming match. There won't be a dramatic goodbye. There won't be a long speech about betrayal. One day, you'll just feel it. The warmth is gone. The grace is gone. The benefit of the doubt is gone. And by the time you notice, it's already permanent. That's the part no one talks about. Because Libra is known as the peaceful one, the fair one, the reasonable one. But here's what most people don't understand. Libra doesn't lose faith easily. And that's exactly why, when they do, it's final. So the real question isn't, why does Libra get hurt? The real question is, why is it so rare for a Libra to completely lose faith in the first place? Why can they be disappointed, shaken, even wounded, and still not become bitter? Why don't they collapse into cynicism the way others do? To understand that, we have to go deeper than personality. We have to talk about how Libra is wired. Libra is an air sign. Air doesn't react immediately. Air circulates. It studies. It moves around a situation before settling. When something painful happens, Libra's first instinct is not revenge. It's assessment. They replay the conversation. They revisit your tone. They ask themselves what they might have misunderstood. Not because they're weak, because they genuinely believe there are two sides. And that belief is the first reason they don't lose faith. Most people lose faith when they feel wronged. They interpret the pain as proof. This hurt me. Therefore, people are bad. But Libra doesn't jump that fast. They say, this hurt me. What? That small difference protects them from emotional extremism. And here's where it gets deeper. Libra does not put all their faith in individuals. They put their faith in principles. Fairness, balance, truth, redemption, accountability. If you disappoint them, that doesn't automatically destroy their worldview. Because their worldview isn't built on you. It's built on something bigger. Many Libras in America grow up with a strong sense of moral structure. Even if they aren't overtly religious, they believe in justice. They believe that actions have consequences. They believe wrong eventually surfaces. They believe there's a moral order to life. So when someone lies to them, Libra doesn't immediately say, love is fake. They say, this person failed the standard. That's different. And that difference keeps their faith alive. Now here's the first turning point. Libra may doubt you long before you realize it. They may start pulling back emotionally. They may become quieter. They may stop defending you in rooms you're not in. But they won't announce it. Because Libra doesn't like chaos. Total loss of faith creates chaos. And Libra hates chaos more than they hate pain. Pain can be processed. Chaos threatens their internal balance. So instead of exploding, they recalibrate. Instead of saying, no one is trustworthy, they say, I need clearer boundaries. Instead of saying, everything is unfair, they say, I misjudged this. That reframing is strength. It allows them to evolve without collapsing. But don't mistake that calm for blindness. Libra sees more than they say. They notice inconsistencies. They catch tone shifts. They observe who shows up and who doesn't. They simply don't react impulsively. And because they don't react impulsively, people assume they're unaffected. That's the mistake. Libra can be deeply hurt and still choose dignity. They can question you and still pray for clarity instead of revenge. They can feel disappointed and still hope you'll correct yourself. That hope is not naive. It's rooted in their belief that people are capable of growth. And here's the second mini-climax. Libra doesn't fear being hurt. They fear becoming hard. They don't want to become cynical. They don't want to live in a world where everyone is assumed guilty. They don't want to lose their ability to believe in goodness. So they fight internally to preserve that softness. Not softness in weakness, softness in spirit. They may step back from you, but they won't step back from the belief that people can change. Unless something very specific happens. Because there is a line. And when that line is crossed repeatedly, something shifts. It's not one mistake. It's not one lie. It's not one bad day. It's a pattern. A pattern of intentional unfairness. A pattern of manipulation. A pattern of using their grace as leverage. When Libra realizes that someone is consciously exploiting their desire for peace, that's when the internal debate stops. And when Libra stops debating internally, the decision is already made. They don't need to destroy you. They simply withdraw belief. And that's heavier than anger. Anger still contains energy. Withdrawal is quiet finality. But here's the deeper layer most people miss. Even when Libra loses faith in a person, they rarely lose faith in life. They separate the two. That requires emotional maturity. It requires resisting the temptation to generalize pain. It requires faith in something bigger than a single outcome. Some Libras interpret that something bigger spiritually. They may not preach. They may not quote scripture. But they hold on to the idea that justice exists beyond what they see. That wrong will eventually be addressed. That truth doesn't stay buried forever. That belief stabilizes them. It prevents them from spiraling into despair. And this is where the tension rises again. Because if you've been hurting a Libra slowly, they might still be holding on to hope. They might still be giving you room to fix it. They might still be waiting for consistency. But every time you ignore fairness, something erodes. Not loudly, quietly. Libra doesn't announce erosion. They simply begin to emotionally restructure. They talk to you less. They confide in you less. They expect less. They prepare internally. And once they emotionally prepare for your absence, you've already lost them. Not because they hate you, because they no longer believe in you. And Libra without belief is distant in a way that's almost spiritual. They won't curse you. They won't try to sabotage you. They'll just stop investing grace. And grace is something Libra gives generously until they don't. Now let's deepen this. Why don't they collapse into hopelessness? Because their faith was never impulsive to begin with. They build belief slowly. They test people quietly. They observe over time. So when something fails, they don't feel foolish for believing. They adjust. They refine. They don't say, I was stupid. They say, I miscalculated. And miscalculation can be corrected. Hopelessness feels like permanent failure. Libra doesn't accept permanence lightly. They believe in correction before destruction. But here's the final high point you need to understand. If a Libra ever truly, completely loses faith, not just in you, but in the idea that fairness exists between you, they won't try to fix it. They won't ask for closure. They won't fight for understanding. They will go still. And that stillness means they have concluded that restoration would require you to rebuild a moral foundation you chose to ignore. That's too much labor. Libra believes in fairness. They don't believe in dragging someone toward integrity. So they leave you to your choices. And they move forward, still believing in balance, still believing in justice, still believing that goodness exists, just not with you. That's the difference. They don't let one person corrupt their worldview. They protect their faith by being selective, not by becoming cold. And in a culture that swings between obsession and cancellation, that's rare. Libra doesn't idolize. Libra doesn't demonize. They evaluate. They adjust. They preserve their core. So if you're a Libra listening to this, and you've been doubting yourself for not becoming bitter after being hurt, don't. The fact that you still believe in fairness after disappointment is strength. The fact that you still hope people can improve is courage. And if you love a Libra, understand this. Their calm does not mean they are unaware. Their patience does not mean they are blind. And their silence does not mean they haven't decided. If they still believe in you, you will feel their support. If they stop believing in you, you will feel the absence. And by then, it won't be dramatic. It will just be done. Libra doesn't lose faith easily. But once they do, they don't rebuild it twice in the same place. If this spoke to you, if you felt seen, or if you suddenly understood a Libra in your life more clearly, take a second. Like this video so it reaches someone who needs this clarity. Share it with the Libra who's been carrying quiet disappointment. And subscribe, because we're going deeper into the psychology, the faith structures, and the hidden emotional architecture of every sign. Not for gossip, not for drama, but for understanding. And understanding changes everything.